All right, here we are in the beautiful Mount Scott Park. Absolutely stunning out here. And I just want to touch on a couple of things that just replay over my head, in my mind, over and over again. It comes up when I read people's comments and I listen to, I guess, their arguments, people's thinking on social media or something like this, whatever you want to call it. Um, the number one thing that is really important to establish is there is no radical Democrats. This is a farce. It's delusional. There's no, how could someone be a radical Democrat? Whether you're a DSA operative, oh boy, wow, you're for Democrats and you're going to call yourself socialists or even communists. There's nothing radical about this because it's delusional. All of these operatives in the Democrat Party back the corporate establishment. Look what the squad did. They've all backed Vice President Biden. Biden. Biden's a radical? Biden's a change agent? Really? Who are you kidding? You'd have to be on a 3-day drug or drinking bender to believe that. Is that what's going on? Are we on benders and backing Biden? That would make sense if people are high and loaded and drinking too much and backing Biden. But that's not what's happening. We have a psychological operation of people who are stone cold sober in believing that Biden is what we need with this Trump derangement syndrome, that Trump, this clown on the side, is somehow the core being with all the power controlling everything. That's not the case. And if you install corrupt, warmongering Democrats like the Obama, Clintons, Bidens, all of these cabal, then we're going to see wars escalate worse than they are now. And you're going to see things happen that are worse than they are now with corruption. It's hard for people to believe that, but most people just throw everything into some sort of right-wing conspiracy if it happens to mention anything about Obama. I was reading Twitter and Obamagate, protecting and defending the Obama administration. Obamagate was trending on Twitter yesterday. And I thought to myself, when I was reading the comments, this is what's wrong with America. The people have no critical thinking skills. They've been programmed to believe that Russiagate was real, that Russia somehow colluded with the Trump campaign. They're failing to see the connections of the corrupt DOJ, the corrupt, dirty police officers around the Department of Justice during the Obama administration, the Biden administration. They're failing to see how they set up with spies, FBI informants, CIA. Carter Page was a CIA informant. All of these operatives and assets around General Flynn included, around Trump, to frame him and give them a false story that Russia for 3 years, and people still believe it. They're calling anything contrary, questioning the Obama DOJ, which we have all the court records. We have all the evidence. The Mueller report had a whole bunch of evidence in it that proved that there was foreknowledge, that they were framing up Trump with a fake Russia narrative. The dossier itself came from DNC operatives. On and on and on. People are calling this right wing. These are the people, these are like Nazis. These are the good Germans that followed the Nazis. That's who these Democrats are, backing up corrupt criminals, saying it's right wing and delusional. And it's Obamagate. Oh, Obama is historical. Wow, he did these great things for the people. Drone bombing 7 countries. He dropped the ball on multiple social reforms. He watched Ferguson burn as Black Lives Matter operatives killed police. Right? You forgot all that? You forgot that Obama watched Ferguson burn, didn't do anything for Black Lives Matter? Nothing. But he's the hero, right? And it's all right-wing conspiracy to question the dirty operatives in the DOJ with Obama. And Obama knew. It went all the way to the top. Lindsey Graham is on there. Lindsey Graham was firing off. I read a bunch of his stuff yesterday. He's calling the Rep AOC and the squad, right? These four other female operatives. He's calling them, they're in control of the Democrat Party. This is what Lindsey Graham's doing. Now, let me remind you, Senator Lindsey Graham is one of the biggest douches out there. This guy is all talk and no action of any kind. It's a ladybug?
It landed on my leg.
Oh, it's a baby. And that's super cute. I don't know what you're gonna do with it. But I lost my stream of conscious there. We have a ladybug there, a little baby ladybug. With the Obama DOJ, these guys committed treason in a way. Now people get all reactionary because treason is supposed to be high crimes and demands capital punishment. So people think that it's some sort of a lynch mob or something coming out of all these corrupt people. We want people to be held accountable. And I'm not right-wing. I'm not a right-wing conspiracist. 30 years, my entire life, I'm independent, Green Party. And I even question that because we have so many Democrat moles that have come into my party. I even now question that title of what it means to be green. Because the Howie Hawkins team is coddling Bernie Sanders Democrat operatives, thinking that somehow this is how we build a third party, is coddling brainwashed and confused psychological operation Democrats. That's not how we build a party. We need to be reaching out to the folks that are already deprogrammed. They already know that Bernie Sanders was never going to be the nominee in 2016. That was a farce. That whole plan, the Pied Piper that was exposed in WikiLeaks emails from the Clinton administration on Podesta, emails, concrete evidence that called Bernie Sanders a Pied Piper. They're all Pied Pipers to tweet the little progressive flute and get them in to back Hillary Clinton. It backfired because the evidence and the operation was exposed and published on WikiLeaks. So, but back to Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham was saying that these radicals have hijacked the Democrat Party and have taken over. And Rep AOC, she got reelected in a landslide. 25,000 people voted for her, and there's how many hundreds of thousands of people in Rep AOC's district in New York? How many hundreds of thousands? 170,000? 200,000? Nobody voted. She got 27,000? I have to double check. 27,000 votes said they wanted Rep AOC. Out of 150,000 that didn't vote for her and didn't vote at all. Because why? They're clueless? They don't believe the Democrats? So Lindsey Graham is trying to pin 25,000 votes on this wide-eyed bartender that she is somehow now controlling the Democrat Party. It's delusional. Lindsey Graham is blowing smoke up everyone's rears. It's absurd. There's not some radical left taking over the Democrat Party. It's the same big money corporate handlers that it's been for decades. The same Clinton crony, pedophile hijacking, drug running, gun smuggling. Does everyone forget that Obama did the Fast and Furious drug running? The guns in exchange going south for the drugs coming up. That was under Obama's administration. Fast and Furious. Look it up. I mean, I don't think people are even doing any type of basic research to see what is going on out there. And you're going to try to call Biden a hero, Biden a good guy, when it couldn't be anything further from the truth. I mean, really, we're dealing with a pedophile with dementia, and you guys think that the country needs that in the White House, and everything's going to be swell. Well, the exact opposite is true. And you think it looks like we got a civil war coming now. Wait till you see the Democrats if they steal this 2020 election. Either way, I think we're going to see what looks like to be a developing civil war increase, no matter who wins. And the number one reason for that is because people are not listening. The people in power are not listening to the people in the streets. They're not listening to the demands for a more just democratic way of representation and the demands for more just and democratic voting methods. I don't think ranked choice voting is enough. I really don't. I think ranked choice voting just ends up boosting that lesser evil, the Democrat, in most cases. Yes, it can give a little reassurance, or people feel like they can mark a second or a third as an independent, but we need something that's more like proportional representation, where the small minority of the voice, whether it's radical Black Lives Matter operatives, or whether it's Green Party operatives, or whatever, libertarians, we need to have representation proportional to the people's demands and voices. This black or white, blue and red, Coke and Pepsi system is imploding. And everyone loves to say on this far left, whatever I hate left and right, but for your sake, the far left calling and saying that it's capitalism. It's all capitalism. And that implies that if we had state socialism or state communism, you don't think we're going to have problems? You don't think we're going to have issues with democracy? Are you trying to tell me that the socialist states and the communist states around the world aren't plagued with corruption and organized crime? Oh, how foolish that is. Don't be a fool. It's way beyond making some little, oh, capitalism. Oh, this is all capitalism. There is all kinds of issues that can be addressed, and more adjustments can be made severe, and many people would even consider radical changes. That does not mean that we have to switch into a communist regime where we have gulags. One could argue we have gulags right now. What is Guantanamo Bay? What are these black sites the CIA has, these prisons, these black site prisons where people are being held without charges? Guantanamo Bay. That's a gulag. The best example of the CIA, best example of communism is CIA. Straight up. You have people operating top down and in secret and doing things to people, making them disappear. Into gulags in some cases. Into vapor holes where we never see them again in other cases. That's communism. That's state socialism. That is state control, top down. That's not what we want. That's not what any of us want. So, I mentioned Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, you are a delusional douche. Listen, Lindsey Graham is protecting Biden. Lindsey Graham is protecting Obama, saying, no, I don't know what these calls of treason are for. Oh boy, no, it's not grounds for treason. Oh really? Well, what do you call it? What are those crimes? Trump didn't commit those crimes. Trump didn't have corrupt DOJ embedding FBI and CIA assets to create a false Russia collusion narrative, and then spend 3 years with a bogus impeachment march. And then you couldn't do that because that case imploded. Too many Democrats involved with Russia, huh? Then you got the Ukraine gate. So then they try to and actually do push impeachment, which it collapsed because you've got Biden with Burisma, Hunter with Burisma, Pelosi's son Paul with Burisma, weapons, drugs, corruption in the Ukraine. Everybody's got their hands in it. That had nothing to do with a phone call about concerns of corruption before we sent over a bunch of weapons so you can blow up your neighbors. Oh boy, what a crime. Total bullshit. There's so much more out there that could have been applied, and the Democrats just blew their load on it. So this is why I have people saying, well, the Green New Deal, wow, it's in mainstream. We finally got to talk about it. We're getting Green New Deal's out there. No, what they're calling the Green New Deal is not the Green New Deal. It's a 5G, big tech, big pharma handout. And it specifically mentions expanding 5G, which is a military weapon for surveillance, Rep AOC specifically mentioned smart cities, which that again is 5G grid that could be used for data collection. His purpose is military data collection. This is what Rep AOC, this is what the Democrats are having you believe. Not a word of the Pentagon budget. Not a word of reducing the military industrial complex. Not a word from these corrupted Democrats. This is why them taking the Green New Deal's messaging and brand was a failure, an error on our part not to speak up. And that's because Howie Hawkins is the one that's acting like a Democrat operative with Dr. Jill in 2016, saying, why don't we offer the platform our top pick, top position to Bernie Sanders? Yeah, let's send that out repeatedly, Dr. Jill. Well, Bernie, you could have the top of the ticket. That's not only illegal, it's immoral. We have delegates. Delegates pick who our nominee is going to be. And speaking on that, the Howie Hawkins campaign is now trying to claim victory. They had to reduce the threshold for delegates 3 times, from over 200 delegates to be the nominee to down to 180, down to 170, because they didn't have the votes. They didn't have the delegates. So they had to cheat once again in the rigging of this primary. This is what the Howie Hawkins team has done with the Green Party. Inside rigging crew, taking over the media committee, taking over all these other media committees, putting people on the payroll, and then send out press releases for Howie Hawkins when we're in the middle of a primary, green primary. It's disgusting. We have Democrat moles, plain and simple, that think that we should try to reform the Democrat Party rather than build a real independent voice. And that's what we need, amongst a lot of things. So, my daughter says the rant's over, Dad. We're going to go look for ladybugs. Peace out, man. Enjoy your June 2020 the best that you can. Watch out for operatives in the street. Things are so staged for false flags, it's unbelievable. How many people got shot and how many attempted rapes was there up at Chaz, the Chop? Where do you think those people are coming from? That's NATO missionaries. We don't want that in Portland. Peace out. Be safe in the streets. Much love.